My beer always looks like it put 10 pounds on.
You're funny. All right, let me test this.
You go and have a nice birthday.
Thank you so much. Okay, you see the room. You could hear me. I'm gonna keep talking, Robin. I'm gonna turn on all the mics. You can hear me. I'm gonna turn on all the microphones. Just do another test. Okay, here we go. Test one. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. One, two, three, test 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, 3. Check, check. I'm just gonna zoom in and out right now. Just let me know how that looks, and then we could take a break. I'll mute the microphone in here. I'll keep the camera on though. Zooming in to the Viking sign and zooming out. I'll focus in on Ashley's spot and kind of go down the line. Looks like we don't have Glenn's play card up, so I don't know if he's going to be here. And I assume that Ruby and Cheryl are going to be remote again. So that's that. Hopefully that was a successful test. Very nice, very wavy, awesome. All right, I'm going to keep the camera where it's locked into the spot. Hopefully it doesn't shut down. An auto shutdown, and then I will mute the microphone right now so if people walk in, they won't be heard. Thanks.
Hi, everyone.
He's doing really good. I haven't touched yet. I did have a quick question.
Nicole?
Yeah.
So the little.
Yeah.
Oh, here's.
Yeah.
So the mic is best for you not to trust it. You're not gonna trust it at all.
Yeah.
So I guess when you trust it, you're not.
Okay, we touched it.
Thank you.
Just because I sneeze a lot.
Yeah.
I sneeze a lot. I can't help it. My allergies are horrendous this year.
Ashley, just give me a second to confirm that Robin can hear me in the office and we can start recording and then you're.
That's right, I'll go grab it. Ashley, give me 2 minutes. Okay. See if I can make it. To what? Board goals.
Yes, they're very front page, yeah.
I think it's just one page, right? Yep, it's the goal we created for last year. I know, right? Honestly, I know. What is the?
Denise or anyone remotely, can you just talk for a second, unmute your mic so we could see if we could hear you?
I'm unmuted.
This is
Can you hear me? Check.
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
Go ahead, Denise. Talk again, please.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
Okay, just want to make sure, thank you, that we could hear you and everyone off site and that the board members could hear you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's a part that's behind there. It's malfunctioning.
Hey, are you able to share your screen?
Right.
Just want to make sure.
I just couldn't see it, yeah, so I didn't know if it was yours.
They hold class here every day. They have they're using a PD room as a classroom for life skills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an extra space one. It's kind of neat to see student work and everything.
Yeah, they were all excited to
Oh, yeah.
put their artwork on the walls, and they said they were gonna make it nice and fall like for us when I dropped in the other day. It's, I taught my kids how to use Instacart.
Really? That's cool. That's really neat.
Yeah, it's,
Pretty good one still,
different
right?
field trips this year to go out and buy our groceries for the food items and stuff, so we're doing Instacart.
Those are really clever.
It's right in with everything else.
Yeah, it's busy, and then teachers how to sanitize the thing. We have a
Is that
meeting
qualify
for
for
20% free care.
Does that qualify under the 20% free?
Our technology stuff.
I'm sure it does.
You can read it, right? They all have their own accounts. and-
Yeah. Don't qualify, because they're using technology.
Yeah.
We have no way you're going to get up there.
Okay, I'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For roll call this evening with us, we have Jay Grover, trustee, Nicole Novak, trustee, Jude Kuhn, district clerk, Dr. Brian Graham, superintendent, Ashley Dreyer, president, Sue Marston, vice president, and Robin McCreary, trustee. On Zoom, we have Joy Lamarca, trustee, and excused this evening is Glenn Bovak, trustee. Just a couple announcements. Please silence your cell phones so that they do not disrupt the meeting. And your watches, if you have an Apple Watch, sometimes they need to be put on do not disturb. That's mine. Okay. And there's an emergency exit directly behind me and directly in front of me if we need to exit the building quickly. All right, if I could have an approval of the agenda for stuff. Motion to approve the agenda rather for September 28th, 2020, please. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. And if I could have a motion, please, to approve the minutes from September 8th, 2020, please. And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. We have some good news this evening. Dr. Graham, did you want to share that with everyone?
Yes, thank you very much. So with us in our video conference tonight at the board meeting, we have Mary Howard and Amy Boutte. And I just wanted to take a moment to recognize both of them for the hard work that they accomplished over this past summer to create a series of video tutorials for parents to use regarding Google Classroom, Google Chrome, and all that is Google. As the board may already know, Mary Howard is well known around New York State as a leading educator who utilizes instructional technology in her classroom on a frequent basis. She also is a presenter at many, many conferences about instructional technology. The board may also know Amy Boutte, who's a business educator in our district. She also, when she came here, she was already Google certified as a special Google certified educator. Amy has also been assisting teachers and our administrators with providing professional development for many of our teachers. And she recently created a wonderful website for teachers to post their open house videos. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mary and Amy to share with the board the resources they created called Parent University.
Thank you very much, Dr. Graham. I'm assuming Amy, yep, is going to share her screen here. And if you haven't seen it, this is Parent University. And since Amy, you've got the controls, I think I'll let you take the mic and kind of walk everybody through what it has in there.
Yeah, so Dr. Graham reached out to Mary and I, and we were the dynamic duo in August putting this together. And obviously it kind of was a labor of love of both of ours, since we both love Google and all things tech. So we wanted to create a website that was able to easily be accessed by grandparents, by caregivers, by parents, to help support their children. So you'll find on this website, which is linked on our Grand Island website as well, that students can and parents can click on any Google app that they are currently using, and then they can access videos about that app. So if I click on Google Classroom here, you're going to find majority of the videos are made by Mary and myself, you know, with the gear of what Grand Island, what our teachers expect, what our students are expected to do. They're very uniform, and we created kind of short tutorials, so then that way it wouldn't be so overwhelming for parents. And it's really a wonderful site if you have the chance to kind of go on there and see the resources. And then for advanced things, we were able to connect with additional ed tech people out there on YouTube and give those kind of resources to our parents as well. So we tackle all the Google for Education apps as well as Kami and Jamboard. And then Mary and I thought that as the year progressed, if there are any additional needs of our district or of individual buildings, we can always help support those as they come up and as are needed.
And as we were making the videos, you know, one thing we really tried to keep in mind was, like Amy said, caregivers, but at the same time, there really is no reason that these resources couldn't be used by students as well. You know, they're all kind of clamoring for assistance in different ways. So that is our hope. And we kept that in mind as we were creating. And you'll be hard pressed to find a video in there that's really more than 4 minutes. I think that was our longest. It was maybe 4 minutes. Brief, succinct, to the point, and very targeted assistance is what we were going for.
Yeah, and a plethora of different angles too for things like our high school learners as well as down to our elementary. So we tried to get as many different, you know, aspects of Google as we could, and we also had our teachers in mind. So for our teachers who need a little more tech support, they could utilize this as well. To give themselves quick tutorials on how to do things.
That's great. Amy and Mary, does the board have any questions?
No, thank you.
Well, it looks great. I like the shortcut one.
Can these be found on the website?
Yep.
Then, right on the
Yes.
school's website?
Yes, I think they're under the reopening page, and they may also be on a different page for parents to find. I think it's actually under parent resources.
Right, okay, thank you.
I just thank you, Amy and Mary. Nice job. I also I want to give credit to Sue Marston actually too. Last spring, Sue called me, and really, somebody was communicating with you, and you thought this would be a really good idea. And so last year, our librarians all got together with Mrs. Dulac Mancuso, and they created some parent resources on our website, and this just expands that. So we still have the parent resources that were created by our librarians, and now we have this additional resource that takes it step by step for our parents. So I want to thank Amy and Mary for spending time over the summer. This was a lot of work, and it was supported through our curriculum summer development project as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. I just want to take a minute to honor and say thank you to Ashley. Last week, the Erie County Association of School Boards announced that Ashley Breyer will be receiving the Valiant Award, which shows her commitment and dedication to education not only at the district level, but at the county level as well. And to qualify for the Medallion Award, you have to attend the Erie County Association of School Boards Law Conference. You have to sit on an executive board, which I believe you sit on the legislative board, correct? And you have to attend 3 of the functions that they hold. So thank you from all of us and all the parents and staff in our district for your dedication to education and multilingual.
Thank you. Thank you everyone here for putting up with me. I love it. And I love being a part of this team with everyone. We're a great team and I just am so glad that everyone here puts up with me. So thank you.
She will be receiving her award on Thursday at a virtual awards dinner, and I apologize, Ashley, I will be out of town that evening, otherwise I would have been there to celebrate your award.
Thank you. So moving on to personnel instructional, we have some resignation appointments and substitutes. So if I could have a motion to approve instructional PI 1 through PI 3. All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. Do we have any reductions?
No, any of our principals, I don't think we have any intros today, but please unmute if we do. Thank you.
Okay, and if I could have a motion moving on to personnel non-instructional, if I could have a motion to approve non-instructional PNI 1 through PNI 4, please.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. And now we are on to special education, pupil personnel services with Cheryl Cardone.
Thank you, everyone. And I know this is a work session tonight, so I want to thank you for letting me put this on the agenda. If we didn't get on the agenda tonight, then our student services would have been delayed till our next board meeting. So I do really appreciate it, and I'm sure our families do as well. So if I can have a motion for CSE and CPSE program recommendations, I would appreciate it.
I'll motion.
And the second? All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Aye. Abstentions? Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you very much.
And so that brings us to the items information for the roundtable, beginning with Jake.
I'm good.
I don't have anything today. You?
Okay, I'm all set.
I'm all set.
Robin? Joy, do you have anything for the roundtable?
I am all set for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Green?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Cheryl or Ruby, do you have anything to add?
No, thank you. All good.
I just would like to say thank you to Mary and Amy, and I'm actually excited to push that out to some of our staff members who are not well versed with Google and the different components. So this goes well beyond just parents and students. It will also help other staff in other areas. So thanks for that.
Thank you. October 12th, just a couple days for your information. October 12th, there's no school. October 13th is a Board of Education meeting, and we will have that one at Charlotte Sidway Elementary. October 26th is our next board meeting and work session. And October 29th through the 31st is the virtual NISBA annual conference and expo. So if I could have a motion to approve the adjourn the Board of Education meeting and go into the work session at 7:45 p.m., please.
I'll motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. Okay. So the first thing for the work session that we needed to do is close out our report from last year with our goals. Dr. Graham's is all set with the boards. We had 5 goals. They're in the front of your workbook. And if you could, Dr. Graham, thank you very much for putting this together. I don't know if you want to recognize anyone else that was instrumental in this, but this is a really nice book. It has a lot of tabs that we'll use this year, so make sure you keep this in a safe place and bring it to the work session.
I would like to thank Jill Morris, who did quite a bit of collating and work putting this together, and Jude and Chris Solenik, I think, helped to get it ready to be delivered to you last Friday.
Thank you. With that, we have at the very front, we have our board goals from last year, from 2019-2020. And there's, in order to close up the report, there's a rating scale of ineffective, developing, effective, highly effective, or not at all. So I would be interested, and then there's an area where we include our comments on how we believe we did for those areas as well. I'm sorry? Oh, no, that's what we'll discuss, the goals. So I will, yes, so the goals are here, and so the first goal is the board will share one voice and respect the decisions that have been made collectively. So for board goal number 1, it can be rated as not selected, ineffective, developing, effective, or highly effective. So there's also a section where I can type any of our discussion in the reflection and comments, and then if anyone has any comments, I can add it to the report. One of the comments that I put in here that I had made when we were working on this back in the spring, in June, was that I believe our votes have been more unified this year. I think our discussions have been respectful and public, and that we've included agenda items requested by members. So I feel as though, in terms of respecting decisions or having a voice, I feel as though if a board member has brought forward a topic that they would like to discuss, that we've made sure that maybe not at the next meeting, maybe we've had to wait another meeting to gather the information, but that we've been respectful about including that on the agenda. So that was one comment I made. So I don't know if anyone else has any comments. I also feel that we've may not have always agreed with decisions, but I felt as though, I know personally, even though I may have disagreed, I definitely have a lot of respect for everyone on the board and have respected the decisions collectively that we made together. So I don't know if anyone else has any comments?
Yeah, I would agree. It was my first year, and obviously it was a little bit of a different first year, but yeah, I think we had respectful conversations. We valued each other's input and opinions, and I think we did well with that goal. I'd say we were at least effective.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments in terms of rating for this particular goal that you feel strongly about? And so developing is showing progress, effective is meeting the standard, highly effective is exceeding the standard. Ineffective would be showing no progress at all. So I don't know if anyone has any strong opinions about where we are in terms of that.
I would say we see I want people voice that concern. I think it was, I think we worked on it best for everybody.
Joy, I don't want to leave you out of the discussion. Did you have anything for that first goal?
You guys are cutting out. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can fix this volume. Okay. I was able to hear you, Ashley. I was not able to hear the person after you. It comes at like cutting out. So are you talking about our first goal?
Yes, we're talking about the first goal. Robin had thought that we exceeded the standard in terms of sharing one voice and respecting decisions that have been made collectively.
I think
Jane
we
had-
have. And I think we have, being on the board as long as I have, I think this past year, we really made strides in speaking as one collective. And it's nice. It's very refreshing.
All right, did anyone have anything else that I should have added? All right, so I don't know if anyone has any strong opinions about a rating of highly effective for that, but I feel as though if there's been an email situation, an agenda item that we pretty much have been together on, we want it to be one voice of the board. I don't know.
I would say effective. I think, when it comes to some emails that the board may have received or comments made, on social media, that, some perceptions or comments may have been made that may have looked like it was that of the board. So, and in this area, I think we can always work at it. I agree with Joy. For as many years as I've been on the board, it's been great to be able to work together and be able to respect decisions or directions that don't necessarily align with my own. So, I mean, overall, I think we do a good job, but I think there's always room to.
All right, Nicole, do you have any thoughts on that?
For my first year, I felt everyone worked well together. I don't have another year to compare it to know what the other years have been like, but everyone has been very helpful whenever I have a question or when I'm not sure how we're supposed to proceed. Everyone's been really helpful, and I feel like we've done a pretty good job. But I will agree, there's always room for that.
Okay. All right, great. Goal number 2 is, it's listed in the book, the board will monitor, support progress that's made on the superintendent's goals as well as the 5-year strategic plan goals. So, I don't know if anyone has any comments on that? Or,
Maybe split. I think the first half, we did pretty well, supporting progress on the superintendent's goals. I'm not so sure. And again, it was a very odd, challenging year. But as far as the 5-year strategic plan goals, definitely could use some more discussion.
so did not meet the goal, but showed some progress in developing. Would you say we're more developing in that
I
area?
would be leaning that way, yes, but
All right.
Well, I think a goal of that magnitude and direction will always be developing. We're in a very unique year, so some of our, direction was placed in other avenues this year, but, you know, when we did Brian's review, he gave us a complete review of his goals and gave us his progress. So there was definitely progress made, and we were made aware of that, and we were all able to review that. And I think some of that tied into the 5-year strategic plan, but I feel it would be great if we just spend some time, maybe in another workshop or another meeting, going over some of that in detail.
Yes, we will definitely spend some time going over the strategic plan in the next workshop, and that's a tab here that's in your book too for Jane Nicole. So you have a copy of the strategic plan, so if everyone can review it. I know I would like to review it just to refresh my memory on some of the areas. What I really liked, for those that weren't on the board when we did the strategic plan, what I really liked about it is that we had a lot of parent input. So we had a parent committee, a teacher committee, and there were surveys that people filled out. We had focus groups. So the woman from Canisius College, Jennifer, I'm trying to think of her last name. Jennifer Patrick from Canisius College, that did the focus groups and collected all the data. I mean, there were thousands and thousands of comments. So literally we had focus groups, from parent focus groups to teacher focus groups to, we had a board member focus group and worked on it. So I feel as though it's a very thorough plan, and we will see exactly where we are in meeting the 5-year plan at our next workshop. So I will put developing for that if no one else has any other comments, because I do feel that we made some progress in the 5-year strategic plan, but we have a ways to go to finish the plan, first of all, and second of all, we'll have to spend some time looking it over and figuring out exactly where we are.
So we've got 4 years.
Yep.
I do agree. I think we need to touch base more often on the 5-year strategic plan. I feel like when we do actually go through it, it's so far and few between. And then it's trying to go through it again to remember what we talked about last time and, you know, refresh my memory what's in here. So I would like to touch base on it a little bit more frequently than what we have in the past.
I think the workshop model will allow us to do that.
Yep. Okay, so I added comments. Joy added your comment about touching base on the plan more frequently, and Sue's plan about spending some time reviewing it at the workshop to really take a look at where we are with the plan, and I think that's a great idea. And I will leave that as developing, and if it's something we will continue to look at. So that brings us to goal number 3 that we had. The board will have discussions that will address long-term improvements of our facilities as necessary to sustain academic programs and extracurricular activities. And again, the ratings are ineffective, developing, effective, and highly effective. And there's a section for some comments. I know just personally from being on a facilities meeting this year, we definitely were, we had several meetings to address some long-term needs about some buildings in terms of facilities, also with our capital project that addressed some extracurricular activities and sports fields and things that needed to be updated. So I felt that touched on that goal. I don't know if anyone else has any comments on that goal or where you feel we are. I feel that we've been effective in meeting the goal of addressing, having discussions that address long-term improvements, both from having the right group in to talk to the board in presentations, and also to be going out to work with Young and Right. Some things that address facilities within our district. So I don't know if anyone else has any comments.
So as a board member that is not part of the facilities committee, I don't feel that the whole board may have all the information that is gathered in that meeting. I know we've spoken about some of that, but you know, we did that whole review of our facilities, and it was hundreds and hundreds of pages. And really, I don't feel like, you know, from someone that was here from the beginning to today, that we really know where we stand with the needs that were addressed, short-term, long-term. It may be something that's on the facilities meetings, but you know, I think I mentioned this before. I think the communication back to the whole board could be better. Or, you know, I know we've had a strange year, and again, we focused a lot of our energies in getting our kids educated in a unique way this year. But I think more conversation after those facility meetings would be beneficial to me. And probably the board as a whole.
Yeah, you know, I would agree. I think although it was in place, the capital improvement project, we did have many discussions about improvement of facilities and that because of that. And I agree with Ashley too. We, as far as having the right people in to give us the information we need to make decisions going forward. So we did well in that aspect. But yeah, so I'd like some more of that information as well. That's those facilities.
And only because we just had that report on the last few years.
I'll agree. I don't have a lot of the information on what was all needed coming in, and knowing that some stuff was already in place to be done and updated when I already.
Did we get a copy of that report to our new board members? Is that something you can?
Excuse me, are you referencing the building condition survey?
Correct, yeah.
No, so I'll take care of that.
It might just be something for them to have to reference, and if, if we could, add that to an agenda somewhere to actually get sort of a recap and if things have changed or moved from short-term to long-term or long-term to short-term, that would be wonderful. It was a fantastic report, and it was in detail.
Okay, maybe we could go over the buildings facility survey at a workshop and show the board what was accomplished from the survey that needed to be accomplished and what is still on the table in terms of either capital outlay projects or capital projects and what's ongoing. So we will, I'll make a note of that here.
But also nice to get a recap of those facility meetings.
Now that should have been in our agenda, so that it should have been, the report was included in the agendas, so they
Or
were,
maybe more of a presentation.
oh, okay. So when Young and Wright came at the last one, that was not along the lines of what you're thinking, like the.
No, when you all meet, when the facilities committee meets, we don't get a report back on that.
We got a summary of what happened at the board meeting. It was attached as a facilities report to the agenda.
And we could,
Yeah,
so it's more of a discussion.
yeah, so we can, attach those to, is it Jude, I think you have the reports that were submitted and were in our previous board agendas, but we can, go back and send those out again. That would be great, just so everybody can.
No need to do that, Jude. I'm just saying, going forward, it would be nice that went on the agenda, that there's actually somebody that has attended the meeting, recap where we are, what we're looking at. So not only we as a board members know, but our community members know that we are. I think it should be more of a,
Yeah, like I think I did recap the report, but I don't know if there's something different that besides just recapping the report that's submitted to the board.
if we should get, I don't recall that, and, if it was, we only have one meeting, then maybe.
I think we had two. We had two last year, yeah. So there were two reports and two report outs to the board. But we can always have something else too. And I think it's a good idea at the next board meeting to go over that facility survey and talk about where we are. I know that at the meeting, Young and Wright did mention that we were asking for another substantial report that was being done, or another substantial survey that was going to be done
So,
for
excuse me,
K-Line.
recently, Young and Wright, sorry about that. Young and Wright had made a recommendation to go out and get another structural engineering report on Kegbine. The board did approve that action, so that was the low-hanging fruit from the first two meetings that this district facilities committee had. And so now it's in Young and Wright's hands to get this additional structural engineering report, and that will inform the long-range plan for the needs at Kegbine. And then beyond that, we will, I just emailed Sean to send us the building condition survey, which I will share with the board.
Dr. Graham, can I mention one thing just so people are aware?
Sure.
The building condition survey is done every 5 years. The state updated the way in which the information was going to flow and the schedule. So I think our next revamp is in 2022. Does that sound familiar to you, Dr. Graham?
Yep, and I will make sure though that because we have some new board members that everybody gets the copy.
The last one.
The previous one, yeah.
Yes.
It just would be great, we took the time to do that, and I know when it was done, myself and other board members that were sitting at that time, there's a lot of concern, with some of our aging buildings, and I just feel we need to go through that report, and, I understand Kegbine came out of that, but what else work is being done, with all the concerns. I mean, there's been concerns about some of our older buildings for quite some time, so it'd be nice to do a review of that, especially if we're gonna be sitting down for another one in 2022. So that we can have an understanding of what we used it, or how we used it as a tool.
Okay. I love that idea, so we will definitely add that to a workshop agenda and get, Dr. Graham, if you could get a copy of the buildings condition survey from a few years ago sent out to the board, that'd be great. If you want to print that out and put it in you want to put it in the workshop booklet, then maybe we could put that way at the next board meeting, we can send it via email, and then maybe have a whole punch copy for you to add to this book. So we have it for that. Yeah. It's large, it's a large file, we'll just email it.
Yeah, say I'm fine with digital, so if there's money.
Just there, I think we all have on the phone.
Yeah.
We'll email the file and then we'll review it at a workshop just to see what's been accomplished from the last one before we embark on our new one.
I guess that's the point, just trying.
Okay, so I have developing for that goal. Does anyone have any comments or concerns with that? Okay, and lastly, we have Board Goal 4, which is the board will increase communication with the Grand Island community on a variety of topics. So I don't know if anyone has any comments on that in terms of ineffective, developing, effective, highly effective.
I would say developing. I think we did some things that we didn't do before, but I still think there's something for improvement.
What sort of things do you think we should do?
That's the big question.
That's not, yeah.
I need the information out of people on the stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really sure because I don't think people want any more emails. People are inundated with still emails and stuff right now. So I'm not really sure.
Hi Glenn, thank you for joining us. Glenn is with us. And Glenn, we're just reviewing goal number 4, which is the board will increase communication with the Grand Island community on a variety of topics. And we are talking about, we have some email blasts that go out to people. I know one of the things we did add, which helps, is when people visit our webpage, we have like an information bubble that pops up. I'm not sure what you call it, but it's a message that pops up and you have to click, okay, I got it. So in terms of alerting the community to, we have a reopening tab on our website. When you visit the website, that message would pop up, please see our reopening plan. You click, okay, I got it. And then we would know how many people actually clicked it and how many people we reached.
Yeah, if you're interested in, and there's really no way to know how many are, from the board newsletter article or monthly, how effective that was in communicating with the public. Was it well received? People read it? Did they like that information without that?
Did we add that to the grant?
There's probably some, yes, I know a lot of people do look on the Eldergram.
I personally thought those were well written.
Okay, we will add to the RLD grant. That's a good idea.
Actually, just one other way to answer your question, Jay. For a few years, we had a community relations committee, and it was led by Lori Sasenko, who was our community relations specialist from BOCES. And what we started to do when we had live in-person voting for the budget, we had a survey, and there were multiple questions. It's very possible that the board may want to include this topic as a survey question for the community, because that survey goes out through our email system, but it also is available for people who come and vote in person. And so we were regularly meeting and looking over that data, but of course last year we did not have that. So it may be something for the board to consider as another way to measure the board's effectiveness in communicating with the public.
So how do they complete the survey? Is it at the voting booth?
Yeah, we had kiosks, where they could vote and then sit and do the survey, and and
It was online.
It was an electronic survey, but it was very good. And, you know, if the board would like, I can at least share with the board the data that we have from that community relations survey, and just so you can take a look at it. It was rich data, so.
And maybe we could add a survey question about how to best communicate.
It wasn't that kind of what the survey was about, was how they, so there was the survey actually, well,
Okay.
how do people prefer to receive news or updates from the school district?
And then if the board wanted to specifically ask about communication from the board, then that could be an additional component.
That's the start.
Jude, is that something you could help me with? You know, maybe talk to Greg Fox to see if he has the results from previous years. That'd be great.
Okay, so we'll review the survey about the best way the district to communicate with parents, and then potentially add a question next year about what is the best way for them to receive information from the board. Anyone else have any thoughts?
So what was, did we put a rating on that?
So we did not put a rating. We have developing, effective, highly effective. I would say it was, I would say it was developing for me as well, and I think that, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Jay?
No, I agree, yeah. I think it was a start this year, right? So,
I think, I also think that the Zoom meetings for parents were very helpful, that Brian did. I thought that Dr. Graham did. I thought that was a great way to reach parents. Unfortunately, that is limited to 250, I think, who joined at a time. But I felt that was a good way to reach people in the midst of a pandemic when you can't have them come in, reach people virtually. And I thought that was a good way to disseminate information and also get an idea of what parents needed from the district, what they needed from us, and what in the reopening plan possibly they had concerns with, to be able to make adjustments. And so I thought that was great. So thank you for those Zoom meetings with the parents. I think we had 3 of those. We had a teacher Zoom meeting, we had an SRP Zoom meeting, so that was great. All right. All right, so given these goals, I don't know, how does the board feel about keeping the goals that are developing? I can send them around again, the goals that we have as developing, and then people can comment about goals that they would like to see for possibly the upcoming year. But I feel, this is my personal opinion, that some of these goals that are developing, we should continue to work on, because we're moving in the right direction, and I would hate to see us just shift to something totally different. But I think we can also add to the ones that we have that are developing. We can add possibly something else depending on what comes out of presentations that we have with the strategic plan. But I would like to keep the ones that are developing, and I don't know how other people feel about that.
yeah, no, I'm fine with keeping all 4, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean.
You know, I just keep saying it, but especially the year we had. Okay. Agree. At least those 3, if not all 4, to continue to work on it.
All right. Okay, so I'll send out those via email and also a PDF of the final self-evaluation for the board that we have here. So that's it for board goals. The next topic was Mr. Pula and Mrs. Palachi were going to discuss their work on aligning curriculum between Hughes and Kaegebein. I know that this was something that we discussed in a retreat last year early on, that the curriculum between Hughes and Kaegebein, we would like to see that more aligned, so that whether you're a teacher at Hughes or Kaegebein and your child's in the 2nd grade, at either school, they're getting the same education. So when they come to the middle school at 6th grade, they have the same skills and they've had very similar experiences. It's not always taught exactly the same, but that in terms of the content and skills that we would like students to be able to, the knowledge that they will have and the skills we'd like them to display will be similar when they enter the middle school in, say, math, social science, and the academic areas. So if Max and Felicia are ready, we'll begin that presentation on the curriculum alignment that we discussed last year.
Great. So I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Pakula and Mrs. Blatchy just to share a little bit of information with the board on curricular alignment between your buildings.
Good evening, everyone. Are you able to see the presentation that I'm sharing?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So Max and I put together a brief presentation on the math curriculum that was done over the summer. And before we get into it, we just wanted to thank all of our teachers for the dedication and the commitment to the curriculum work that you did over the summer. Thank you very much. We are both very proud of you. Max, are you on mute?
Wait, did you see our presentation right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can see it. It looks good.
Okay, good. Thanks. Okay, so yes, I want to thank the teachers as well for their hard work. We spoke to them in regards to what they did over the summer, and I wanted to make sure I said to them how appreciative I was of their work, because what they did over the summer is really foundational for us. We've been striving for making our two schools aligned and bringing them together as much as possible. And this curriculum work they did over the summer is the key to it all. This is what we're going to build from and grow from, and then bring us closer together between two schools, so we have our students ready for the middle school. So again, I wanted to say thank you again to my youth teachers that worked on it, as well as the Kegabyte teachers. This is the beginning of, I think, a very bright future for us. And if we can keep using the curriculum work that we're doing, that our teachers are working so hard at, I'm sure that our two buildings will become more aligned. I also want to say thank you to the board for allowing us to do this. And I also want to say that it's been a real pleasure working with Ms. Blatchy. I know that, or you all know that I have a teamwork mentality, and Ms. Blatchy is a team player. And her and I have worked very closely together already, and we formed a great relationship. And I know that that relationship will carry us through to, the next chapter in our district, and the next chapter in the relationship between our two schools, really. So as it was mentioned before, the strategic plan is what we're always focused on, what we're going to refer to, and what everything is based upon. There are components within our strategic plan that we address, or we are going to, refer to. And the 3 points, the 3 bullets you see on the screen are what we really are all about right now with math, especially. So we're revising and reviewing our curriculum maps. This is ongoing. We've made something over the summer, or the teachers have made something over the summer, and this is a living and breathing document. So therefore, we're going to keep working at it, we're going to keep reviewing it, and we're going to keep trying to figure out how effective we're being in our instruction based on the same curricular path that both schools are going to take. By doing this, we're going to address all those curriculum inconsistencies between Youth Road and Kegabyne and see if we can, change those to become more aligned. So by, analyzing our teaching, analyzing our curriculum map, we're going to have the ability to just check ourselves to make sure that we're staying on track. And we'll, of course, continue to make improvements to the programs that support our student learning and achievement, which is, again, taken right out of the strategic plan. So these 3 things will help us become more aligned, become more in tune with each other's buildings and our instruction, so that we are on the same curricular path.
Mr. Kohler, can you, when you have a chance, can you email the presentation from tonight out to the board too, just so we have a copy to refer back to at a later date of your presentation? Would you mind doing that at a later time? Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Yep.
So we wanted to touch base a little bit on the curriculum alignment for math for Youth and Kegabyne. So these were mutually agreed upon learning goals for each grade level, and they bring the power standards to life in the classroom. The curriculum map also allows for a pacing guide, so it addresses the timing and the sequences within the school year for both of the buildings, which ultimately leads to an enhanced curriculum coordination and improved communication among the staff at both Kegabyne and Huth Road Elementary Schools. And ultimately, this will provide us an increased curriculum coherence for all students across grades 2 through 5.
So last year, the board probably remembers, Mrs. Haggerty and I started working with the teachers on creating what we called math indicator assessments. And the purpose of these assessments was to help us determine how we were doing in the power standards, as far as, you know, how well were our students learning the power standards and where were they falling, where were they weak. So myself and Mrs. Haggerty and the teachers got together between the two buildings and created what we called these math indicator assessments. And we by analyzing the power standards, and we created them on the eDoctrina program, the assessment was given to grades 3, 4, and 5, and the assessment was, the results of the assessment were analyzed by the faculty afterwards. Then the action plan was created or was determined based on the result of those math indicator assessments. For this year, I know we're going to be working with Kim Loudit from Erie One Boches to create similar assessments to these. And what will be nice is that these assessments that we're creating through, say, eDoctrina or using those power standards will check against the, you know, the effectiveness we have against, or the effectiveness of teaching towards these power standards within our curriculum maps, because it all comes back to the curriculum map. The assessments that we give will be based upon how effective we are teaching a curriculum map. And the curriculum for math is based on the next generation math standards. So we'll be, in a way, quality control checking, I guess you can say, our teaching through these assessments.
So we wanted to highlight a little bit of what the summer curriculum work looked like among the teachers. They aligned the curriculum for math to the next generation standards. They identified the titles of topics to be taught, and then they determined the sequences of topics that would be taught throughout the course of the school year. And while doing this work, each grade level had at least one representative from each school working on the math curriculum. And some of the instructional materials to support the curriculum are the Envisions math program that we're using, and then the teachers also embedded IXL as a resource as well.
So what's the next step? So we know that our curriculum map is our guide. We know that Envisions is a resource. We know that IXL is a resource. So the idea is that no matter what resource we have in our school district between our two schools, we have a guide that's going to help us provide that pace for instruction. So what are the next steps for us in our two buildings? We want to be open to, or we're going to use iReady, which is the newest, it's a universal screening measure that replaces STAR. This will help us create that or determine that baseline data and give us that foundational data so that we know where we're at right now. We're also going to use our math indicator assessments that we're going to be in the process of creating. This is with that work with Kim Loudit, and we're going to keep working on creating our curriculum maps, especially in the areas of social studies and science. We have an ELA curriculum map, and we've got a math curriculum map. So we're going to focus on now pushing towards social studies and science. I'm not sure if there's a timeline yet determined, and we'll work on that timeline. We're going to have to review the process of how to make our curriculum maps and then determine the timeline. That may not be, so maybe it could be before the end of the school year, but it may be something that we're going to work in after we get ourselves settled with our new math curriculum and iReady and the new math program as well. So that is our curricular alignment in a nutshell. I know it's a very short presentation, but we focus solely on math and, you know, what we're doing in the math area and what we're going to be doing this coming year. Does the board have any questions at this time?
I have a couple questions. Can iReady be used for social studies and science to assess where students are in their learning like you do for math and ELA, or is iReady only available in those two subjects, math and ELA?
So Max, right now, my understanding is
As far as I know, and Dr. Graham, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, I only know of ELA and math being two areas in which iReady can be used for.
yeah, that's what I understand.
And what are the staff development days that we have for this year, and are they, have you determined the agendas for those, or will you be working on curriculum on those days, or how is that?
Sure, I can address that. John Fitzpatrick and Felicia Blotchy are going to lead the district staff development committee. So John and Felicia will be putting together a committee. That committee usually has a representation from every building, and they will build the next superintendent conference day, which will be on election day. And that's the only superintendent conference day that's remaining at this time. So any other professional development needs that come out of that committee, we will have to address after hours.
And summer curriculum work will probably focus again on aligning, guessing, social science.
Sure.
As well.
So at the last, I don't know if it was the last board meeting, but I showed a video and it had some nice music and some slideshows. Do you guys remember that? With the first few slides was our district coming together to do curriculum mapping after hours in March. I don't know if you recall that, but that's how we started before the pandemic hit. So with respect to any type of curricular development, I think as a district, we're seeing that as that can occur anytime throughout the school year and in the summer. So as our staff development committee meets with the teachers and we start building what are the current needs, we may see that teachers are ready to begin tackling either social studies or science during the school year and not wait till the summer, but we may also decide to wait until the summer.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions?
I have a question. Is the curriculum mapping or what the students are supposed to be doing throughout the year, is that going to be posted online at all for the parents to see?
We can do that, absolutely. Yep. Yep. And when I arrived here in 2016, there was a space under curriculum that had some draft curriculum maps, and I think we're ready to be able to publish this. And we also have the ELA one that we can publish as well.
Thank you. And when new teachers come into the district, then will they be given a copy of, they be told basically, they'll have obviously the resources that we purchased in terms of IXL, purchasing rights to use IXL in a certain number of classrooms and the online programs, but will they also have the map so that they know what to be teaching when?
Yeah. In fact, I think Felicia and Denise and Max and John have already pushed out this latest curriculum. Well, I should say not John, but all the elementaries pushed it out to every teacher in their buildings. And of course, it's available through Google, in our Google Drive through curriculum as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Anyone else have any questions on?
Looks like you guys are off to a great start.
Yeah.
It's exciting to see the progress, so good job, keep it up.
It's nice to see. It's been an issue for a long time, as long as I've been on the board. I don't know about before that, but really to get the curriculum aligned between the two elementary buildings has been an ongoing kind of discussion amongst us, and I'm sure amongst school administration and staff and teachers to make sure that our students are coming into the middle school with the same skills and the same abilities and same knowledge base. So we really appreciate all of the work that the teachers did over the summer, and then hope we have teachers here to share information on summer curriculum projects. I know that Mrs. Chadwick was leading the charge on some of that work.
Absolutely. Kathy Chadwick, are you still with us?
I am still here.
Excellent. I just want to do a quick introduction and then turn it over to Kathy. Kathy tonight has a small group of teachers who represented this amazing work that was accomplished over the summer. So there's Kathy and Tricia McDonald, Carolyn Gallagher, Sue Wilcott, and Karen Schlager that I think are with us tonight. But when you look in your binder and you look at the first few pages of the curriculum map, there were 23 teachers. And I just want to echo that over and over again, that sometimes in other districts when curriculum work occurs, sometimes you only get 1 or 2 volunteers per grade level. I think this project that was so laborious was done so well because we had such great representation from our teachers. And Kathy, I'm sure you could share a little bit about that and some other information that occurred throughout the summer. So thank you for being here.
Sure. So as already been mentioned, in the spring we started meeting. However, COVID hit, and that kind of put a stop to it for a little while. But then Dr. Graham contacted some teachers and he asked if we could get together and meet over the summer. And we were very pleased to have lots of teachers volunteer. So all grade levels had representation. We were given up to 12 hours to work on it. And Dr. Graham provided us with the format that we should use. And so now we have a curriculum map that goes from pre-K to 5. So it's got Sidway, Kaggabine, and Youth. And at least 2 people from every grade level were involved, and all schools had representation. And we're very happy now that we have a document to use it's usable, and it incorporates our new Envisions program and also IXL. So we were very happy to work on it, and I have to give a shout out to my grade level because I think we had the most representation. I think all of us were there from 4th grade at both schools. So, but everybody had representation. So thank you for allowing us to work on this.
Now, is this the second to last tab? It has the elementary mathematics curriculum map, UPK through 5. And there's a list of teachers. Are those the teachers, Dr. Graham, that were working on this? Maureen Rossi, Linda Shamlin.
Yes.
So I'll just read the names if that's okay. We have Maureen Rossi, Linda Samlin, Sue Andrews, Molly Allenfield, Dana Santaspirito, Melissa Eldridge, Karen Kozlowski, Rhonda Taylor, Maria Siebert, Janice Ein, Jillian Wood, Jeannie Percival, Patty Korchak, Cassie Chadwick, of course, Tricia McDonald, Carolyn Gallagher, Karen Schlager, Jen Santola, Francis Reed, Michelle Graziano, Stacy Zrodnik, Casey Stack-Cuomo, and Jill Gregson. And I don't know if there's anyone else that we missed, but this is what's listed in our curriculum map, and it's your second to the last tab. And I don't know if you want to talk anymore, Mrs. Chadwick, about some of the skills or any of the things that you worked on, but it is very involved in terms of specific skills by grade level that you'd like to see students know and be able to do and demonstrate, and it's organized by grade level so the board can go through that as well. I don't know if you planned any formative assessments or assessments along the way as checkpoints or anything like that that you wanted to tell the board about as well.
Well, I know that Mr. Pakula talked about the assessments that they will be working on. The Envisions program does have assessments that go along with it that we will all be using. So that's incorporated into it. We use the next gen standards, and we also put in the power standards. So everything is in there. And like I said, it's a very usable document that we feel like incorporates a lot of information.
Okay, great, thank you. Did anyone have any questions about the math curriculum map? And we'll make sure that gets on the website and is published for parents to be able to see what students should be learning at each grade level. And I don't know if anyone else had any questions that they'd like to ask about the curriculum. for the process.
Kathy, I'm just gonna embarrass you slightly. Some of you may not know, or maybe some of you do know, that Kathy is an outstanding teacher who is regularly invited to Albany to participate in item writing for future New York State math assessments. Kathy, about how many times have you participated in that process?
Probably for about 10 years now, both ELA and math. So yeah, it's been very interesting to be involved in the process. Obviously, we didn't do it this summer, but I like to be involved because I like to have a say in what goes on with the assessment. So I've really enjoyed working with the state and doing it.
And thank you for your leadership in that. And I think because of your leadership and bringing all the teachers together, that was very helpful. And the fact that it's aligned to the next generation standards gives our students a head start, because if I'm not mistaken, in the 2020-2021 school year, I just want to make sure I say that right. Sorry, the 2021-2022 school year, that'll be the first iteration of state assessments that include the next generation standards. So it's very timely that this curriculum map is in our hands, and we're very, very excited for the work that you and your teacher leaders did, along with our principals, but also the fact that we will be working with BOCES and bringing in professional development, as Max had shared through Kimberly, who is an outstanding leader and expert in staff development in the area of mathematics. And adding the iReady component, I think, is going to really help us have the best understanding of how to help our students. So Kathy, thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Dr. Graham, could you give the board just a really quick overview of how that training will work, how it will be rolled out, so that the teachers are able to use the curriculum map and implement it in the classroom?
Sure. So the specialist from Erie One BOCES is already meeting with our principals and putting together a plan for professional development from grades 2 through 12. So that work will be done with the principals, and then Kim will share with us all of that information and what her best idea is to deliver that professional development. So that's sort of in process right now. Today the board took some time to look at the goals, and one of the goals of the board was to support the 5-year strategic plan. This conversation really illuminates how the board really is supporting the 5-year strategic plan. The board allows us to pay teachers after hours to do this very, very important curriculum work. The board allows us to work with Erie One BOCES to bring in a specialist that supports all professional development in 4 of our buildings. You may see that I may come back to the board when we do budget development to increase the support from BOCES. Right now, I believe we have 17 days, to utilize Kim. After we do this 1 year of work, we may see that it would behoove our students and our teachers to increase that support. So really, thank you to the board for allowing us to do this. We're very, very excited. The last piece that the board is supporting in tonight's work is the ability for the district to switch from STAR to iReady. iReady is a company called Curriculum Associates, and the diagnostic report that we will receive is so comprehensive that we're very, very excited to put that in the hands of our teachers and our principal leaders so that they can look at how we deliver academic intervention in the school and how we also differentiate instruction, not only for kids trying to get to proficiency, but kids who may already be masterful when they're sitting down and doing mathematics work. So our work with Curriculum Associates and iReady, I think, is going to really, really support the goals of this curricular alignment in a very positive way. And the last thing I'll say is that in this binder, there's a section on longitudinal student achievement data that looks at third, fourth, fifth, sixth third, fourth, and fifth grade data, as well as high school regions data longitudinally over many, many years. And I think this board has known for a while that mathematics has been one of our biggest needs. And I think that tonight you're starting to see how this plan is going to support the growth and student achievement that is necessary to have our students on par with similar students in other districts. But when you get a chance, take a look at that longitudinal data. It's very eye-opening. And bringing in Kim from BOCES, she'll be able to also work with our instructional leaders and principals and teacher leaders to really fine-tune and get at what it is that we can change or tweak, whether it's curriculum mapping, instruction, or the way we assess students. She will be that person, that specialist that will tie it together for us.
Is that, Dr. Graham, is that the tab from the 2017 to 2019, the results tab, and it's the second tab in after the strategic plan with the graphs?
There's a little bit of data there, but if you skip ahead to the February 2020 PowerPoint slides, you'll start to see the district's longitudinal data first compared to Hamburg, and then compared to other school districts that are similar to Grand Island, and you'll see that pattern of slides over, throughout the PowerPoint. And as you look at it, it becomes evident where we are very strong and where we could improve.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone have any questions about the summer curriculum project work? Before we, one question I had is the curriculum maps for the middle school and high school, are we going to have work that's going forward with those as well? I know a big focus for the board has been to make sure Youth and Kaegebein curriculum is aligned, but are we working on getting those maps ready too, so that they're published for parents to be able to see on the website and refer to as well?
I think what we need to do is go through a review process. I would say that the middle school is further ahead than we were at the elementary level. So I think the most important thing is a review process with our building leaders and their grade level teams looking at those maps. But they have been, I would say that they've been stronger than the elementary. So I think we'll go through a review process, and if it's if the teachers and the building principals think they should be published, then we will do that.
All right, and I just think this is great work from the summer. There's the proposal that the development proposal that the teachers actually submitted here is 1 year tabs. It's the curriculum development proposal. The 1, 2, 3, the fourth tab in shows the proposal that was submitted for the work to complete the math curriculum map. So creating elementary math curriculum maps proposals in here. And there's also a sample curriculum proposal, or the actual proposal that Amy Boutte and Cheryl Chamberlain did for the Parent University as well. That proposal is in your binders. And also some of the work from that as well is included in your binders, along with the math curriculum map that we'll add to the website for the elementary schools. So any other thoughts before I don't think we have to have a motion to adjourn this work session. We're just done when we're done. I don't know, Glenn, did you have any thoughts, or Joy via Zoom?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
I'm all set. Thank you.
All right. Okay, if nobody else has any thoughts, then I guess we'll conclude our work session at 8:45 p.m. Okay, thank you. Good night, everyone.